Hello, and welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be talking about achievements, honors, awards, and prestige. Our grandma always said good news needs to be shared and multiplied, and lately, the sports world has been abuzz with news of tennis star Lleyton Hewitt, and we are here to break it down and spread the joy. So let's get started. First up, let's talk about what Lleyton Hewitt has to say. For Lleyton Hewitt, this past weekend has been sentimental to say the least. At the age of 20 in 2001, Hewitt earned the earliest number 1 in the history of the Pepperstone ATP rankings. The tenacious right-hander led Australia to 2 Davis Cup victories, while winning 2 major singles titles, 2 year-end number 1 rankings, and 2 Nito ATP Finals trophies. The Australian relived his development from an Adelaide youngster with a dream to one of tennis's greatest champions in recent history, while surrounded by family and friends in Newport. That culminated in his induction into the International Tennis Hall of Fame on Saturday night. During the induction ceremony, Hewitt remarked that the Hall of Fame just seems like something that was so distant and out of reach for him to ever dream of being part of something so monumental. The 41-year-old moved audience members from all over the world with an emotional induction address. He went on to say that he never gave it much attention as a player and had always assumed it was for the individuals who were heroes and growing up to become the absolute legends of the sport. Hewitt remarked that he feels lucky and grateful that he was able to play across many generations. He acknowledged the opportunity he had been given to play on the same court as his idols like Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi, and later went on to compete against some of the greatest tennis players the sport has ever seen, like Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, and Novak Djokovic. Listen, we only have one question. Who's cutting onions around here? Because we can't take this. Next up, did you know tennis wasn't always the player's favorite sport? AFL football was Hewitt's favorite sport as a youngster, and members of his family, including his father, Glenn Hewitt, played the game too, so his inclination makes sense. But after some searching, Hewitt's parents discovered Peter Smith, who had a weekly opening at 7:30 a.m. on Sunday mornings, and appointed him as their son's tennis coach. Rusty, Hewitt's popular sports nickname, never turned around, and as they say, the rest was history. When he was a teenager, he had one of the most significant interactions of his life when he was introduced to Australian icon John Newcombe at his camp in Texas. Hewitt requested to speak with Newcombe for a project at school. The most important item he revealed to Hewitt, according to the tennis player, was concerning the famous Kipling poem, If, particularly the 2 lines that are inscribed over the walkway on center court at Wimbledon. If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those 2 imposters just the same. Poetry and tennis were the one crossover we didn't know we needed. Sir Newcombe, we owe you one. Hewitt talked about the nerves and drive he had prior to every match. He said that going to war for something more important than just yourself, standing side by side with your teammates, your captain, and your coach, was something that always pushed him to do his best. Last but not least, Lleyton said in his closing remarks that the induction ceremony that his parents, Glenn and Sherilyn, his sister, Jaslyn, his children, Mia, Cruz, and Ava, as well as his wife, Bec, were all responsible for helping him get to where he was today. Next up, what do the fans think about all of this? In front of a large group of relatives, friends, admirers, and well-wishers on Saturday, July 16th, the Australian from Adelaide was presented with tennis's highest honor. Hewitt, a member of the class of 2021, had his induction ceremony postponed until 2022 because of travel limitations, but the Wimbledon, US Open, and 2-time Davis Cup champion finally had his moment this past weekend in Newport, Rhode Island, at the hallowed International Tennis Hall of Fame grounds. Over the course of his 18-year career, the fiery competitor, known for his determination and never-say-die mentality on the court, won 616 matches, most notably 2 Grand Slam singles finals, the 2001 US Open and 2002 Wimbledon. Quite the rap sheet, don't you think? It's safe to say the tennis player Hewitt has amassed a fan following and a number of admirers, and it seems those people have a lot to say. Fans from all over the world took to Twitter and shared their joy. They congratulated the Australian player and wrote heartfelt notes for him on his big day. Let's talk about some of them. Elizabeth Ann Kelly tweeted her well wishes by saying congratulations to Lleyton Hewitt on being inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame. She stated that he was a guy with great talent and skill, and extended her warmth toward the family as well by saying that he, Bec, and the kids are in God's hands today and always. How cute is that? Mark Taylor had a lot to say as well. He said Lleyton's induction into the Hall of Fame appears well merited, even if just because he frequently found a way to defeat the finest players in a sport where height and long limbs are frequently a clear advantage. A boy from Little Adelaide can truly make it all the way, as evidenced. A journey that inspires others. Now that is a legacy in itself. Mari tweeted her congratulations and said, Lleyton, this is truly a prestigious achievement. Hewitt is unquestionably a champion. Both on and off the court, people admire him. Being a part of the International Tennis Hall of Fame is such an honor. The words of his supporters and their warmth goes a long way to send a message, way better than we ever could have articulated. Alright, moving on from the warmth and fuzziness, let's go on to some other topics of interest. First up, let's talk about Novak Djokovic joining Team Europe to play the Laver Cup. Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, Andy Murray, and Novak Djokovic will all play for Team Europe in the Laver Cup. The competition, which lasts 3 days and features 6 players from Team Europe against 6 from Team World, will take place in London from September 23rd to 25th. Diego Schwartzman, Taylor Fritz, and Felix Auger-Aliassime have so far been nominated to Team World. It's the only competition where you play on a team with players you usually face off against. Noel said that the tournament will be a truly unique moment in the history of the sport, and he was excited to be alongside Rafa, Roger, and Andy, 3 of my biggest all-time adversaries. Having all 4 of the game's stars on the same squad was a historic event, according to Europe's captain Bjorn Borg, an 11-time Grand Slam winner himself. He said that he couldn't have anticipated having these 4 sports legends on the same team, and that he knows they won't let this opportunity go to waste. Amazingly, one of the 4 held the top spot in the globe for a period of 18 years, up until February of this year. The men's tennis circuit's best players were at a loss as to how to end the dominance of the quartet of stars, who at their height appeared to be unstoppable. As a result, 3 of the 4 swept up major championships and made sure they maintained a monopoly on the top spot in the world. Talk about being unbeatable, right? Next up, Rafael Nadal's 2006 US Open portrait resurfacing with a secret feature that has sent the tennis world in a whirl. During the 2006 US Open, Rafael Nadal was the center of attention as the Spaniard stormed into the quarterfinals. However, a picture of the now 22-time Grand Slam champion from his time at Flushing Meadows has surfaced again, and it has nothing to do with him. The 4-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka was the 8-year-old fan seen in the photograph. The astounding finding was made by a keen-eyed fan in a photograph of the 20-year-old Nadal, and it instantly went viral with the tennis community in shock. As she lifted the US Open trophy above her head on the court 12 years later, Osaka clearly learned a lot by watching the Spaniard arrive at work on Arthur Ashe Stadium. But as she recovers from an Achilles injury, the former world #1 is gearing up for another run at the US Open. In San Jose, Naomi Osaka affirmed, "It's encouraging to see that she has a busy program planned for the US hardcourt season, which includes stops in San Jose, Toronto, Cincinnati, and the US Open," tweeted tennis writer Jose Morgado. Lastly, let's discuss tennis star Ash Barty resigning from professional sports. Ash Barty has explicitly denied ever returning to professional sports, putting an end to rumors that she may convert to golf. The Australian Open champion from Queensland startled the athletic world earlier this year when she announced her tennis retirement at age 25. Rumors about Barty switching to professional golf have been rampant in the months that have followed. She participated in the Icon Series competition in the United States and appeared in St. Andrews to support Cameron Smith during the Open Championship in recent months. Barty announced the shocking news that she will never play, putting an end to the rumors. Well, at least now we know, right? That's a wrap for this video, and we will see you in the next one.